An interview of Mary Alpaugh with the two student interviewers who will identify themselves.
Tara Wilsey, Jessica Shirey.
Perfect. Okay, girls.
What role, sorry, what role does your council play within the community?
Well, we have a Memorial Day chicken barbecue every year. We have an election day supper. We have a memorial service in June in the cemetery for deceased Oddfellows and Rebecca members. And our members are in many other things besides Rebecca's and support community events.
Okay. What kind of people were part of Oddfellows Hall and the Rebecca's?
All types of people. Anyone from in the Rebecca's, female from 18 years on up. And we have some members join when they are in their 50s and 60s. And we like to get some young members because the old ones are sort of giving up. We need some young members.
Yeah. So anyone can join that wants to? There's no special requirements?
A member will present their name for initiation, and then there is a committee that goes and talks with them, and then the next meeting we vote, and then after that we initiate them.
And was there more of an age variety in past years compared with today?
Yeah, we had more members, so we had a lot of young people coming in, and recent years there haven't been that, so now it's more older membership. We have a few young ones, but we'd like some more.
Yeah. What do you think social organizations were? Why do you think they were more popular in the past rather than today?
Well, television for one thing, and now computers. People are busy on computers. And back when I joined, I didn't work outside the home, and a lot of people didn't. And in the evening, you were kind of anxious to get out with other adults and talk to somebody besides kids. And nowadays, with everybody working, sometimes when you get home from work, you don't want to talk to anybody else in the evening.
Yeah.
That makes a difference, I think.
And what does Oddfellows Hall and Rebecca's mean to you?
Well, the Oddfellows Hall is the building, and you mean the building or the organization?
Both, I guess.
Both.
Yeah.
Well, the building is important to all of us, and we work hard to try and keep it up and make improvements. And it's very pleasant in there. We have 2 dining rooms and 2 small club rooms and kitchens downstairs, and upstairs is 1 big room and 2 smaller entryways, anterooms. And the organization means a lot to me. I met people through the Rebecca's that I would not have otherwise met and become friends with. And so that's nice. And also all over the state you make friends when you go to various things. And I have lots of friends that I've met through Rebecca's.
What was the significance of Oddfellows Hall Society and the Rebecca's?
The significance in society? Well, their aim, they're the three links of the Odd Fellows stand for friendship, love, and truth intertwined. The three links are joined. And the Rebeccas follow the same principles. So within the community, we try to exemplify those three watchwords.
Okay. Do you know when Odd Fellows and the Rebeccas started and why?
The Odd Fellows started in England. And then the first, I'm not sure of the date of the first lodge in America. But our local lodge, the Odd Fellows, started in 1847. And the Rebeccas were started in 1915, the local ones.
Did they always meet there, Mary?
Pardon?
Did they always meet there?
No. The first, well, I don't know whether it's the first, but one of the meeting places, there was a building where the Quickway stands. And they met in the second story, I think, of that building. And then they moved to the third floor of the building where Rory's grocery store is. And they were there until 1941, I believe, when they bought the building on Alden Street. I joined in 42, so they were already down there when I started membership.
Sure, that's good.
Did she skip any?
What kind of issues were normally discussed in the meeting, if you could share any? I don't know if they're private or...
We discussed ways to make money a lot. And since I knew I was going to be talking with you, I looked up some old histories that different members had written, and we had a history that was written for our 25th anniversary, and then there was one that went up to the 50th and a little bit beyond. And both histories mentioned that the early meetings were filled with money-making ideas and who was going to do what, and it still is. But we do have many organizations that we support worldwide, the whole Odd Fellow and Rebecca organization, not just us locally. We have a World Eye Bank and Visual Research, and we raise money and have grants, give grants to people to study this. We have a John C. Sable Hart Memorial Heart Fund, and every year there are 2 or 3, and I believe this past year it might have been 4 cardiologists that or young doctors studying to be cardiologists that we have money for them. Scholarships for people in college.
So you guys do actually a lot, like just not locally, but like nationwide. How often do you normally meet?
Twice a month, first and third Mondays. And then there are 2 months that we don't meet, and it used to be they wouldn't meet in the summer, July and August. But when heating became more expensive and the members became older, and we started closing in the winter, so we close January and February now.
So do you stay, are you also closed in July and August?
No. Now we meet in July and August and close.
Is there
January.
any like reason why you don't meet for those 2 months?
Well, I don't know.
That's okay. I
Just
just
the
didn't.
heating?
Pardon?
Just the heating?
Well, no, because it was all, as long as I've been, it was always that way, and it was during the summer too. I guess they think they need a little vacation now and then.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, how are the meetings run? For example, was there like a specific agenda you went
Yes,
through?
yes. We have what's called a Rebecca ritual, and the order of business is listed in that, and you go by that.
Okay. What are the officers' positions, and about how many members were there before the ended, like the odd fouls?
Well, when I joined, there was over 100 members. Now we have about 40. Some of the odd fellows can join the Rebecca degree. And what was the other part of your question?
Like, what are the officers' positions?
Oh, well, there are a noble grand and vice grand. The noble grand is like the president.
Mm-hmm.
And the vice grand, secretary and treasurer are elected offices. And the other offices, color bearer and supporters to the elected officers, they're appointed. Chaplain, chaplain appointed, musician.
Like, how often do you hold elections?
Once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah, we have election of officers in
Do you elect
September.
for like do you hold elections for the president?
For the 4 offices,
Okay.
yeah. And our year goes from October to October.
Mm-hmm.
1st of October till the 30th of September the following year.
Okay. Is there a certain meaning for the spelling of the Rebeccas?
Well, in the first place, there isn't any C in it.
Yeah.
It's Rebekah. And it's based on Rebecca in the Bible. The work of the Oddfellows and Rebeccas is based on the Old Testament in the Bible.
Okay. At your meetings, is there like a pledge or oath to be taken when you first start?
Yes,
Or when
yes.
you initiate?
When you're initiated, there's a oath that you take, an obligation.
Do you say this like obligation each time you meet?
No,
Like at the beginning of every meeting?
no,
Okay.
it's when we initiate.
I think that's all we have for questions.
What about the structurally important question?
Oh yeah. Structurally how? Wait. Oh, it was.
Structurally, how was the Oddfellows Hall important? Like, is
The
the
building?
building itself important structurally?
Yes, it is. It's an old building, and it was remodeled in the early 40s to accommodate a lodge room. There's just a great big room upstairs, and I'm sure it wasn't that big when it was a private home. And in our district, which is Otsego, Schoharie, and Delaware counties, there's only one other lodge beside us that owns their own building. And the other lodges are having difficult times finding a place to meet. So we feel very fortunate that we do have our own building, and I guess that's why we work so hard to keep it.
Oh, what kind of things have your organization accomplished? like the Rebecca's or Oddfellows over the
Well, the
years?
various things that I mentioned that we do as a big organization. And our lodge was very fortunate that one of our members was the president of the state association. That's called an assembly, Rebecca Assembly. And Isabel Vanderwerker was assembly president, which did a lot for our lodge because people came to things that she had, and we entertained a lot of members from other places. And we went to Syracuse and Long Island and Albany and initiated candidates. We'd done some before that, but after that we did a lot of that, and that was good for us, exposure for our lodge.
Is there like any, does your organization have any like special codes or anything like that to get in
Yes.
maybe?
Yeah. But I can't tell
Yeah, I
you
was gonna
that.
say, you probably can't give us examples of those.
Yeah, there are passwords,
Okay.
and
That's all the questions we have, unless you'd like to share anything else or less.
well, I did look up some things. I found this little program that was for the 75th Oddfellows anniversary, not ours. During the Civil War, the Oddfellows had a hard time to keep going because so many of the men were fighting the war. And my great-grandfather happened to be one of the men that still stayed in Cherry Valley, did not go to the war, and he was honored after the war for keeping the lodge going during that difficult time. And we had a hard time during World War II because various things were rationed, sugar and coffee and meat and canned goods. So that was, they had a lot of fundraisers when we were paying for the building. They had bingo games, and many people in town came to those, and we had card parties frequently. And we just don't do many of those things anymore because people stay home and watch television.
Do you know, I'd like to ask a question. Do you know about the history of the building before it was bought in the, what did you say, 1940 by the Oddfellows?
The 1940s. I don't know a lot about it. I know Catherine Rosebone lived there, and she's the lady that gave the money for the Presbyterian Church.
Uh-huh.
She also owned the building across the street from me, which is now Catery Hall. She had a school there, an academy, but I don't know a lot about the building.
You guys are good. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nice having you here.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like to know also about the local the histories that were written. Are those, do they have confidential information, or could the girls make copies of those for the file on the
Well,
Rebecca?
I don't know. I'd have to really read them over
Okay.
because there may be.
Mm-hmm.
When I first joined, there were still several charter members coming to lodge meetings. And the way they got started there was a lady, Juliet McPhee, who grew up here and then moved to Oneonta, and she was involved in the Rebecca's there, and she just wanted her friends and relatives here in Cherry Valley to have the enjoyment and the pleasure that she did from a Rebecca Lodge. So she got our lodge started here, and she was still very active when I joined. And the way they started it, several people from here went to Oneonta and joined Oneonta Lodge. And then they withdrew from that lodge and formed a nucleus to start a lodge here. That's how they got started.
So they were an outgrowth of another Rebecca, not of the Oddfellows per se.
Right, but you had to have an Oddfellow Lodge in the community before you could have a Rebecca Lodge.
I see.
Because the Oddfellows are the boss, they think. And back when it started, one of their objectives, the Oddfellows and Rebecca's both, were to care for widows and orphans, because a lot of time when the husband and father in the family, the breadwinner, died, there was not income for the wife and children that were left. And we did have an orphanage in Ithaca that we supported. But then as things evolved, and now there are different organizations and federal and state, county help for people, and so it's a whole different situation than it was before.
Did you send the people to like the orphanages, or did you take them into your home?
Well, we didn't, and I don't have any personal knowledge of how that worked, but I know the local organizations, when if an Oddfellow was sick and unable to work, sometimes they would give him money. Because there are some references where they gave some family $10. Well, a long time ago, that did a lot. Now it would not. And there was one reference where they bought a cow for one of their members. So they did things like that.
Took care of each other like a family.
Yeah, we're considered brothers and sisters. And so it's, you look after each other.
I can't think of any current kind of social organizations like that. Any new ones. Can you, girls?
The only thing I can think of are fraternities and sororities, but they're different.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still considered brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of similar.
That's right. Well, I think other fraternal organizations, like the Moose, they have a home, I know, for, I don't know, it's a boys' home, or don't recall. But various organizations do have things. We do have one home in Lockport, New York, and we're affiliated with that home. And there's a home in New York City that the lodges down closer to the city are affiliated with. And we send money to that lodge to, Christmas time we send, so that every resident of the home will receive a Christmas present. And,
These are like nursing homes, kind of.
Yeah,
retirement
yeah.
homes.
I would say more nursing homes, or at least assisted living
Mhm.
arrangement. And they have a chicken barbecue and like an all-day fair in the summer, and we always buy 2 tickets and send them for the barbecue and send the tickets back to the home so they can give it to some of the residents that might not have money to purchase a ticket. So we do things like that. Do nice things.
Yeah.
When you have your twice a month meetings, do you get the turnout of most of the current members? You had said you had
Well,
40 or so?
No, we don't. We
I
may
wondered.
have 10 or so,
Uh-huh.
sometimes fewer than 10. Because a lot of these people are older. We, a few lodges consolidated with us. Richfield Springs consolidated with us, and Canajoharie and Fort Plain. But their members are older, and it's a distance for them to drive. And in the winter, these older ladies aren't out on the roads after dark much. So that cuts down on our attendance.
Oh, your meetings are evenings, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long do your meetings normally run throughout the time?
Oh, a couple hours. Depends on what we have to do.
Do you have any sense whether the New York State statistics are like yours, where it used to be much larger organization? And
Yeah, it's nationwide.
I see.
Its membership is down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And lodges are consolidating all the time. We used to have 2 districts in Otsego County, and each one had several lodges. And now there's only 1 district, and we have maybe 5 lodges, 6.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many like lodges or organizations are nationwide? Or maybe just a rough
No, I don't. Not as many as there used to be.
Yeah, probably.
More televisions, less lodges, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
Oh, Mary, thank you for your time. If I could figure out how to turn the machine off.
I do have something that I can give you girls. I just thought about. It's an application for membership, but it tells a lot on there about what